Ever wondered what goes perfectly with birthdays, Valentine's Day, Easter, or any celebration? It's chocolate, of course. Chocolates are like the superheroes of every occasion, big or small. They have this amazing power to make any moment feel even more special. Did you know that over 80% of people enjoy chocolates every year, whether it's a Kit Kat or a Snickers bar? But here's the fun part. Have you ever thought about how this beloved treat is made? From a tiny cocoa bean to the chocolate cake you devour on your birthday. Join me in today's video as we unravel the sweet journey of the world's favorite snack. Cultivation of cocoa trees. The majority of cocoa beans used by chocolate makers come from West Africa, where 70% of the world's crop is grown. But have you ever wondered where these beans actually come from? Well, the first step in making chocolate is growing cocoa. Now, the cacao tree is quite delicate and needs just the right conditions to grow well. Picture this. It likes a damp and shady place with a temperature of at least 25 degrees Celsius and a high humidity of 80 or more. Plus, it thrives when it gets about 1,800 millimeters of rain every year. So, after creating this perfect environment, it's time to harvest the cocoa beans. Harvesting. When the cacao pods are fully ripe, it's time to gather them up. This step is super important because it ensures the cacao trees are treated carefully, allowing them to keep blooming over and over again. The folks who collect these pods use various tools like machetes, picaroons, and shears. It's like a careful harvest dance to make sure everything is done just right. Getting the cocoa beans out. This part is a bit tricky. First, we take a bunch of cocoa beans wrapped in white pulp out of their pod. Once we've got them out, we carefully go through them and keep only the ones in the best shape. We might use a machete or a club to crack open the pod and separate the cocoa beans from the flower shaft inside. One pod can give us anywhere from 20 to 40 cocoa beans. And now, let's introduce some simple chemical magic into the mix. Fermentation. We spread the extracted cocoa beans out on the ground or let them naturally ferment in a wooden box. This fermentation part is super important for that special chocolate smell. We cover the beans with banana leaves in a two-step process, kick-starting ethanol fermentation. After that, we stir the beans, triggering acetic acid fermentation. The amount of oxygen around them makes a big difference in how aromatic the beans turn out. Drying the cocoa beans. Now, we need to lower the water level in the beans to less than 7% so they can be thoroughly dried. This step is a big deal because it stops the fermentation process and we can then ship and store the beans without worrying about them fermenting again. We use the classic method of letting them dry under the fresh air and sunlight on a wooden deck for maximum exposure. Once they're dry, these beans are good to go and ready to be shipped. Packing and sending off the cocoa beans. Before these beans go on their journey, we check them for anything unwanted or impurities because, well, they're about to be packed. Once they're safely packaged, off they go to their different destinations. And with each step, we're getting closer to creating those delicious chocolates we all love to munch on. Cleaning up. Even though the harvesters started by cleaning the beans by hand, they still go through a full-on screening and filtering process to make them super clean for use. In this cleaning process, they get rid of any debris, stones, and twigs. Imagine a conveyor belt smoothly moving the cocoa beans through a cleaning system. Once they're sparkling clean, they take a quick spin in a micronized revolving drum that heats them up, making it easier to crack open their hard shells. Quality inspection. Before these beans become part of the chocolate-making magic, they go through a quality check to make sure they're top-notch. A team of sensory analysts with a nose for cocoa greatness performs a taste analysis, ensuring that the beans are of premium quality. Crushing the cocoa beans. Now, it's time to crack those cocoa beans open. The crushing process involves breaking the shells with the help of a machine called a winnower. The beans journey through the winnower, getting crushed by successive rakes that pull them across screens. This efficient process strips away large pieces of the shell. After that, a vacuum swoops in to suck away the smaller bits still stuck to the bean. And voila! The inside of the cocoa bean, also known as the nib, is fully exposed. These nibs are like the chocolate's secret weapon, essential for creating that perfect taste and aroma. Roasting the nibs. Roasting is a crucial step in bringing out the fantastic taste of chocolate. Without this toasty process, our chocolates just wouldn't be as delightful. So, the factory takes those nibs and gives them a cozy roast to enhance their flavors. Picture them roasting in a gas-heated, air-filled spherical roaster. This not only dries them out, but also brings out that incredible aroma. Now, let's dive into the blend. Blending. It's time to mix things up. Beans with similar origins come together to create a unique aroma. But here's the twist. The manufacturer might also mix in cocoa beans from different sources. The processed nibs join the party, getting cozy with cocoa butter, sugar, and milk powder, if it's going to be milk chocolate. After this blending dance, we end up with a batter that's as thick as a cake. The flavor is decent at this point, but the mixture needs some more smoothing out. So, off it goes to a refining machine for that perfect touch. Grinding and refining. Now, let's dive into the art of turning cocoa beans into the magical substance we know as chocolate. First, the cocoa beans take a journey into the world of fine grinding. They get finely ground to release the cocoa butter, which transforms into a thick paste, giving us that smooth liquid texture we crave. After this, a delightful mix of different ingredients is added to the batter, creating a perfectly blended paste. Conching. Now, the final act in creating liquid chocolate is a process called conching. Imagine it as a dance where a surface-scraping mixer and agitator, known as a conch, gracefully distribute cocoa butter within the chocolate. This not only polishes the particles, but also requires careful execution. We start with dry conching, gently warming the product with frictional heat to promote liquefaction. After that, we move on to liquid conching, creating a homogeneous product. Now, with the chocolate in its liquid form, it's time to give it some structure. Tempering. In this stage, we set the temperature of the chocolate liquid. The cocoa butter crystallizes into a stable shape during this controlled temperature cycle. We weigh it, pour it into molds, and let it take shape. Once molded, the chocolate is cooled and hardened to perfection, giving us that delightful texture we love. Making praline chocolates. Now that we have our chocolate canvas, it's time to add some extra goodness. Different pralines step in as fillings, creating a symphony of flavors. For bonbon chocolates, we mix water with sugar and boil it down to create caramel. Dry fruits like finely roasted almonds and hazelnuts join the party, adding a delightful crunch. After the mixing is complete, the chocolate cools on a marble table, getting finely ground and refined to reach perfection. Coating and decoration. To make our chocolate even more tempting, we embark on the final embellishment journey. In the case of bonbon chocolates, the filling is delicately rolled over the chocolate layer, forming the undercoat. After it cools, specific patterns are added, bringing out its charm. Using various tools and materials, the bonbon is decorated with chocolate, making it look irresistibly tempting. Thanks for diving into the world of chocolate with me. If you've got a sweet tooth, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more tasty adventures. See you in the next one.